Hi, I'm Isadora, and this is week number 2 of Masturbation Month. So I got an email from a woman saying that she feels embarrassed about using sex toys, and is it okay to use sex toys? I don't think shame about anything you're interested in doing is good, so you want to learn how to let that go. And as far as sex toys go, they can be really helpful in discovering your own body and bringing you more pleasure. I'd be careful around vibrators too much. A lot of women become dependent on their vibrator. So they have a hard time then getting an orgasm with a partner or without the vibrator. So a vibrator can actually spoil your vagina. And we don't want you to spoil your vagina for sex with partners. So I actually recommend not becoming dependent on your vibrator, using a sex toy, or I like to use a glass wand. So when I teach my workshops and I teach women how to isolate their muscles to have better orgasms, to build up their sexual energy, and it's great for learning how to have better orgasms, or for women who've had painful sex, this really helps, or after childbirth when maybe you need to tighten up the muscles again so sex becomes enjoyable again. Using a wand, so I call this a glass pleasure wand, aka a dildo. And you can get a small one or a big one. That's really your choice. I like this one because it also has something for your G-spot. And a lot of women still write to me saying they've never found their G-spot. And I think every woman should be able to explore her own vagina and find all the parts and what makes her have the most pleasure. So using a wand or a dildo is great in that when you put it inside, you can really practice isolating those muscles and having more control. When I went and studied in India, they actually had something called milking. And that meant that you could control the vaginal wall muscles so much, it would be like milking. So your muscles would get as strong as, say, your fingers, which is obviously very enjoyable when you're having sex with a partner. They will really appreciate that much control and dexterity. They say, like, how strong is your vagina, right? You're gonna have to put a little work and effort in. So at that point, your dildo's sort of like lifting weights. If you wanna have stronger biceps, you're gonna have to lift some weights. So think of this as you're making your vagina stronger and more powerful. Using the dildo, you would put it inside, and I like to isolate. So you would actually learn how to isolate these muscles, the Kegel muscles, or the inside, the muscles of the vaginal wall, squeezing the bottom, middle, and top of the muscles, and then releasing from the top, middle, and bottom. So when you find you can actually get some control of those muscles, you'll start to feel a lot more arousal and excitement in yourself, and you'll be able to give more arousal and excitement to your partners. And another thing you can do when you're working with the dildo to create this greater control and strength of these muscles, you can add clitoral stimulation, which will make it much more pleasurable. I have a lot of women ask me about the difference between internal orgasms and clitoral orgasms. And we're gonna get into that more in week number 3. But for this week, I want you to play around with finding your favorite sex toy, right? So dropping any shame, maybe you can go online, or you can go to your nearest sex store, maybe put on some sunglasses if you feel embarrassed. But you wanna test your boundaries this year. We're trying to remember sex is fun, and better sex life means you're gonna have a better life in every way. So I'll see you next week.